Good morning, everyone. Quick morning audio notes here this morning. We do have one more rain system moving through the Midwest here this week, following the one from last weekend. Yesterday's bean rally looked to be mostly tied to these two weather systems moving through, possibly slowing down the harvest a little bit for beans. Now, harvest is moving along at a good pace, but the biggest concern yesterday was that it could slow down the final run here. Well, like I said to start the video here, uh, we do have one more rain event coming here a little bit later in the week, and it does impact most of the Midwest. After that, there's a 10-day clearing in the forecast, and that is for virtually everyone who would like to be uh, progressing harvest, especially the bean harvest. The bean harvest did jump to 73% on yesterday's report. That's up 13 for the week. That was maybe a little bit higher than trade would have expected, and it's over the 5-year average. So seeing that big of a jump and seeing that the forecast does clear after one more rain event, taking away a little bit of overnight support in beans. We'll mention the corn harvest, same story there, a 14% jump up to 66. That puts it well above the 5-year average of 53. So corn harvest still moving along pretty actively as well. Wheat lower. French milling wheat was down slightly last night, so little surprise we're seeing most of our U.S. wheat contracts down as the French milling wheat does continue to be the #1 spillover influence. Now there is a difference based on which wheat you're watching. Minneapolis wheat still seeing the best support, of course, still going on, still seeing the best support due to the low supplies. KC wheat is stuck somewhere in between. It's following the French wheat stories, but it's also seeing a little bit of pressure from Chicago holding back. So we'll put KC in the middle, and then Chicago is seeing support, but is seeing the least support. As Chicago wheat is most commonly tied to U.S. exports this time of year more than anything else. And again, exports, we've seen one solid week recently, but then last week exports slipped right back down to a poor number in the 300s again. So we should continue to see Chicago see the least support of the three wheat markets that we follow. So if we don't see anything else today, maybe a slight easing back across all the grain markets due to some of our spillover upside influence a bit more limited here today. Flipping over to the cattle, national show list down 17,000. That might sound familiar because that is the same show list we saw last week. Once again, this does imply that if cattle sellers ask for a higher price, there are pretty strong odds now that they will get it. That is 4 of the last 5 weeks of a lower show list. This is exactly the lower numbers we were looking for. They did come in a little bit later than we were expecting, but we are seeing the pattern we expected to see. So now, again, it's a matter of question is, will the cattle sellers ask for a higher price? We fully feel it's justified that they could ask for it and they should get it, but we'll still have to wait to see. We did see one unconfirmed report of a 125 cash trade yesterday. Good to see, but trade will most likely want to see a larger scale trade before reacting too much. Yesterday did recover back from being oversold, but it still factors in a 124 cash trade. So yesterday's bounce, while nice to see, all it has done so far is correct being oversold. It hasn't factored in a potential 125 trade. So as always, we'll see what we get here today. Would expect a little bit of weakness in grains, slight support in cattle. And if anybody has any questions, give me a call when you can. Thank you.